Hi guys, this is Mr. Ibrahim the trader of Gova Trading Academy. So today guys, I'm going to help you understand the use of period separator. Okay, I'm going to help you understand the use of period separator on different time frames. Okay, we have four types of period separator. So we have four types of period separators. Okay, now the first type of period separator that we have is called the first type of period separator that we have is called the yearly period separator. So this yearly period separator is usually marked on the 1 week time frame. We also have what we call the monthly period separator. And this is only based on the professional course. Okay, this is based on the professional course. We have what we call the monthly period separator. So this monthly period separator, it is usually marked. It's usually marked on the D1 time frame. It's usually marked on the D1 time frame. Okay. So the third one we have is called the weekly period separator. So we usually mark this weekly period separator on the H3 time frame. So the fourth one we have is called the daily period separator. So this daily period separator, we usually mark it on the H2 time frame. Now remember, like I've said, this is only based on the professional course, okay? This is based on the professional course. Now let me show you how we usually mark it on the chart. Let me show you how we usually mark it on the chart, okay? Now going back to the chart, let me use Euro GBP as an example. So first, whenever you want to move your period separator, you can use this area to move it. I believe you can see there's a tiny black dot around here. You can use your left and right button to move it to anywhere you want, okay? Just put your mouse there, drag it to anywhere you want. So I like seeing space. Remember I told you guys that I like seeing space, a little bit of space here, okay? If the space you have is too much, if the space you have is too much on your chart, you can see now the space here is too much, right? It is too much. So you can narrow it to make it just a little bit like this. The space is okay like this, okay? It is okay. Now, I believe you guys can see my time frames here. On this my time frames, I'm going to go to the yearly equilibrium line. Now you can see I'm on the weekly time frame, right? I'm on the weekly time frame right now. So the weekly time frame, remember the note. The note says that the weekly time frame is the yearly equilibrium line. It is the yearly period separator, okay? It is the yearly period separator. What do I mean by the yearly period separator? What I mean by the yearly period separator is that from this area, you can see what is period separator in the first place. A period separator is a vertical line that come across your chart like this. You can see it here. This is a vertical line. It separates the day, it separates the week, it separates the month, it also separates the year, okay? So all these vertical lines you are seeing here, I believe you can see these dotted lines here. So all these vertical lines here is what we call the period separator, okay? Period. You can also see that it is, the name is period. So the period for the year, the period for the month, the period for the week, and the period for the day. This is what separates it, okay? So in the forex market or any financial market, period separator is very important in trading. Now, on the weekly time frame, the yearly period separator, is from here to here. So it means that from here to here is 1 year period. It's 1 year period. It means that from this area, from this period separator to this period separator is 1 year interval, okay? It's 1 year interval. Remember, minus the weekend, isn't it? You know, the weekend is not in the market, minus the weekend, okay? So now let us see if truly it is 1 year to 1 year. Using your cross, you can see the cross on my chart here. Using the cross on the chart, you can see this is the cross here, right? So always use your cross here whenever you want to measure the period separator, okay? So using our cross here, I'm going to put it on this one here, on this one. So make sure you put it properly. You can see right now it is not properly placed on the period separator. So make sure it is properly placed on the period separator. If it is properly placed, you should be able to see that the period separator should sit properly on your cross here should sit properly on the period separator, okay? You can see right now it is not properly placed on the period separator. So I'm going to place it properly. So you can see right now it is properly aligned with the period separator. The cross here is properly aligned with the period separator that we have here. So what is the date here? What is the date? You can see that the date is below here, just a little bit below this area. Just look at the date within this area, okay? Where my arrow is pointing at. Just look at the dates. So let me put the period separator again. Right now, the date is not correct right now, okay? It's not correct. The date can only be correct if you put your period, if you put your crosshair, if you use your crosshair to look at it. Don't just look at it with your blind eye, with your naked eye. Always make use of your period separator to know the exact date. Because without placing the period separator, you might be seeing a different date, not the exact date, okay? So that is why you need to use the period separator. So now, using my own period separator here, I believe you can see that on this period separator, this is the dates for it, which is 01/01/2023, right? It means this is the period separator for 2023, which also means that from this area, which also means that from this area here, on this candlestick, you can see that we are having a tiny bearish candlestick in the area, which means that in this area here, there's a bearish candlestick on that period separator. I believe you can see that. So let me put the period separator here again. So you can see in that area, there's a bearish candlestick that is currently sitting on the period separator. Let me zoom out this candle so that you can see it properly. Now, zooming the candlestick out a little bit, I believe you can see that there is a bearish candlestick on the period separator, right? The bearish candlestick is sitting exactly on the period separator. So I believe you can see it, guys. I believe you can see it, right? So always focus on the candlestick that is sitting on the period separator. It is very important, okay? You can see we also have a bearish candlestick here sitting on this period separator. We have a bullish candlestick here sitting on this period separator here, okay? So it is very important to know this, okay? Let me zoom it out a little bit. You can see we have a bearish candlestick here, and this bearish candlestick is sitting exactly on the period separator that we are having here. That's an example. Let me show you another example. On this other example, you can see that we have this bearish candlestick here sitting exactly on this period separator, right? So I believe you can see that. Let me show you another example. You can see that we have this bullish candlestick here sitting on the period separator. The bullish candlestick is sitting on the period separator, okay? So it doesn't matter what time frame it is. So far as a candlestick is sitting on the period separator, whether it's on the yearly period separator, whether it's on the monthly period separator, whether it's on the weekly period separator, or whether it's on the daily period separator, it doesn't matter, okay? What matters is for you to mark your equilibrium line at the opening of the candlestick on that period separator. So I think this is enough. This example here is enough. You can see this is a bullish candlestick sitting on the period separator here, right? So I think by now you guys understand what period separator is. Let's move on. Let's move on. So moving on back to the chart, I believe you guys can see that the period separator here is the period separator for 2023-01-01, right? You can see the date here. And I believe you can see the candlestick sitting on the period separator here. All right. So that is it, guys. That is it. So it means that from this period separator, it means that, remember, it means that from this period separator to this other period separator is 1 year period, is 1 year. It means that from this period separator here to this other period separator here is 1 year interval. Okay, it is 1 year interval. It also means that from this period separator here to this other period separator here is 1 year interval, and so on and so forth. So let me show you an example. Let me show you an example. Using your cross, place your cross on the period separator. Putting my cross on the period separator here, you can see this is 2023 0101. So let me move it to this area here. You can see that to this other period separator, this is 0701 2024, right? 0701 2024. So this area is 2024. Okay, this area is 2024. So look at this area. This period separator, putting my period separator, putting my cross here, this is the period separator for 0201 2022. So you can see from 2022 to this area is 1 year period. So you can see this is 0101 2023. That's 1 year period. So it means that the market has been playing out from here all the way to this area. 1 year, this is 1 year period. Okay, 1 year period. This area is also a 1 year period. Okay, 1 year period, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. So this other area here is also 1 year period. Look at it. From this period separator, you can see the period separator here is 0301 2021. All the way to this area, you can see this period separator here is 0201 2022. Remember, I told you guys to always monitor the dates below. Always look at the dates below. The date is below, okay? Let's look at it again. You can see this is from this period separator here, the date here is 0301 2021, right? From this other period separator here, you can see the date. The date here is 0201 2022. Okay, when you look at the dates just below here, okay? So that is how to look at the period separator. Now, that is the month, that is the yearly period separator, guys. That is the yearly period separator, okay? Now, what about the monthly period separator? The monthly period separator is marked. Remember, the note I just gave you guys says that the monthly period separator is usually marked on the D1 time frame. We usually look at it from the D1 time frame, okay? So it means that on the D1 time frame, from this area, from this period separator to this period separator is 1 month period, 1 month, okay? From this one to this area is 1 month. From this area here to this area is 1 month. Minus the weekend, remember, always minus the weekend, okay? It means that from this period separator here to this other period separator here is 1 month. From this period separator here to this other period separator here is 1 month period, okay? So now let us look at it together to see if it is 1 month or not. So putting it on this area, you can see this is 0, this is 01. Look at the date. Remember, I told you guys to always monitor the date below here. Okay, so look at the dates here. When you look at the dates, you should be able to see that the period separator here is for this is for June. You can see this is 0106 2023, right? 0106 2023. If I go to this area now, you can see the period separator here is 0107 2023, which is July. So this is the period separator for July. Okay, when you look at the dates below here, just look at the dates below. Okay, so let me put it again. You can see this is 01/06/2023 all the way to 01/07/2023. Can you see that, guys? So this is 1 month period. Okay, that's 1 month period, and so on and so forth. Okay, and so on and so forth. But let me show you another example. You can see from this period separator here to this other period separator here. Let us look at the dates. Let us also look at the dates from this period separator here to this other period separator here. Let us look at the date together. Now look at it. Let me work on this area. Look at it here. The period separator here is 03/04/2023, as you can see. So it means that this is the period separator for 01/05/2023. So look at the one here also. The period separator here is for 02/01/2023, 02/01/2023 to this other one here. This other one here is 01/02/2023. Okay, so that is the monthly period separator, guys. Okay, that is the monthly period separator. And on this monthly period separator, guys, I believe you guys can see that there is a candlestick, even though the candlestick here doesn't have any body. This is wicks, or you can call it star, or I don't know the name of the candle, but what I know is this candlestick here does not have body. At least the opening of the candle is in the area here. Okay, that's what I know. All right, I don't have to know the name of the candle because I'm not a retail trader that trades on the pattern or the shape of a candlestick. What I'm concerned about is a momentum candlestick only. All right, so now let us look at this other area. You can see in this other area here, on this period separator, you can see we have a bullish candlestick on the period separator here, right? On this period separator for the month, you can see we have the bullish candlestick. So it means that 1 month interval is usually marked on the D1 time frame. Don't forget, D1 time frame is for 1 month. Weekly time frame is for 1 year. Okay, you can see here also we have a bearish candlestick here. This bearish candlestick is sitting exactly on the period separator that we have here. You can see here also, look at this area. You can see this is a bullish candlestick. This bullish candlestick is sitting exactly on the period separator for the month. Can you see that? You can see we also have another bullish candlestick here. This bullish candlestick is sitting exactly on the period separator here. All right, so that is it. That is it, guys. So whenever you are looking at the period separator and whenever you are looking at the candlestick that is on the period separator, the opening of that candle is what you should be concerned about. Okay, the opening of the candle, whether it's a bearish candle or whether it's a bullish candle, the opening of the candlestick is what you should be concerned about. So this is a bearish candle. This is the opening of a bearish candle. We all know this is the opening of a bullish candle. We all know that this is the opening of this type of candle. We all know that this is the opening of this bullish candle here, and so on and so forth, guys. Okay, and so on and so forth. So that is it, guys. If you have any question, you can ask. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. The next period separator we are looking at right now is the weekly period separator. Okay, so this weekly period separator, we usually mark it on the H3 time frame. We usually look at it on the H3 time frame. So we usually look at the weekly period separator on the H3 time frame. So it means that on the H3 time frame, from this area, from this period separator to this other period separator here is 1 week period. Okay, it is 1 week what? 1 week period. It means that from this period separator here to this other period separator here is 1 week period. From this period separator here to this other period separator here is 1 week period, and so on and so forth. All right. So the next one we have after the weekly period separator is the daily period separator. Now, we usually look at the daily period separator from the H2 time frame downwards. So the daily period separator, we usually look at it from what? From the H2 time frame downwards, which means that from this area all the way to this area, that's the daily period separator. From here to here is the daily period separator. Okay, whether you are on the H2 time frame, you are still on the daily periods, you are still on the 24 hours period separator. Whether you are on the H1 time frame, you are still on the 24 hours period separator. Whether you are on the 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 12 minutes, 10 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, you are still on what? You are still on a 24 hours period. You are still on a 24 hours period. That is from the H2 time frame downwards. From the H2 time frame downwards. All right. But the H3 time frame, remember, the H3 time frame period separator is for 1 week. Don't forget, it's for 1 week. The D1 period separator is for 1 month. Don't forget, it's for 1 month. The weekly period separator is for 1 year. Is for 1 year. Okay, 1 year, 1 year. All right. So I believe by now you guys understand what period separator is. So this is the daily period separator. It means that on the H2 time frame, from this period separator here to this other area, to this other period separator is 24 hours. Okay, it's 24 hours. Also, it means that from this period separator here to this period separator is 1 day period, which is 24 hours. Okay, so it means this is 24 hours. This is 24 hours period. From this period separator here to this other period separator here is another 24 hours. Okay, that's on the H2 time frame. Now let's move on to the 30 minutes time frame, for example. Whether you're on the 1 hour time frame, on the 1 hour time frame, from this area to this area is 24 hours period. Okay, from this period separator here to this other period separator here is still 24 hours period. Okay, 24 hours period. The only difference is that the period separator is getting wider a little bit. It's getting wider a little bit from what we have on the H2. You can see the H2 period separator is a little bit narrow, but from H1, the period separator is a little bit wider. Okay. So on the 30 minutes time frame, the period separator, as you can see, it's a little bit wider also. So on the 30 minutes time frame, from this period separator to this other period separator, it is still the same 24 hours. Okay, it is still the same 24 hours period. From this period separator here on the 30 minutes time frame to this period separator is still 24 hours period. All right, so don't get it twisted. It is still 24 hours. Remember what I told you guys. I told you guys that from H2 time frame, from the H2 time frame downwards all the way to 1 minute time frame, it is still a 24 hours time frame period, okay? So let me zoom in the candlestick here so that we can see the period separator. Okay, unfortunately, I'm not able to see the period separator on the 1 minute time frame in a whole picture unless I scroll to the left or to the right. Unless I scroll to the left or to the right. So, but what I mean here is that on the 1 minute time frame, from this period separator here to this other period separator here, you can see how I'm going to the left a little bit. So this other period separator here is still considered as a 24 hours period, okay? It's still considered as a 24 hours period. So that is it, guys. That is it. So I believe by now you guys understand what period separator is, okay? You understand what period separator is. Now on this period separator, as another flow trader, we usually mark our equilibrium lines, our equilibrium zones on these period separators, whether it's on the monthly period, whether it's on the yearly period separator. Remember I told you guys that to mark the yearly period separator, we usually mark it here. Whenever we want to mark our yearly equilibrium line, we usually look at the candlestick that is on the period separator there, and then look for the opening of that candlestick. You can see in this situation, the candlestick that we have right now on this yearly period separator is a bearish candle. So, and we all know that the opening of a bearish candlestick is not the wicks. The wicks is not the open. The wicks is the opening of a bearish candlestick is not the wicks, okay? The opening of a bearish candlestick, we all know that it is the body, the top of the body. That's the opening of a bearish candle. So this is the opening of this bearish candle. The candlestick that is on this period separator. Okay. So and this is our yearly equilibrium line. That's our yearly equilibrium line. All right. So it means that this area here is the yearly equilibrium line. So, and the candlestick that is there is the bearish candlestick that we are having here. This bearish candle. Okay. This bearish candlestick. So that is it, guys. This is the yearly equilibrium line. The next one we have is the monthly equilibrium line. Monthly equilibrium line. Now, on the monthly equilibrium line, for the month of June, the equilibrium line for the month of June is here. So let me zoom out that area. Before I zoom out that area, I believe you can see that we have a candlestick that looks like this in shape. So it means that that area is the opening of that candle. That's the opening and closing of that candle. The same area, which means that our monthly equilibrium line is here. Which means this is our monthly equilibrium line, okay? For this past month, for this month of June, all right? Now, for the other months, which is around here, you can see that the candlestick we have is a bullish candlestick. So a bullish candlestick doesn't open here. We all know that a bullish candlestick usually open here. From the body, that's the opening of a bullish candle. And that is a representation of monthly EQ, okay? Monthly EQ, or you can call it MEC. MEC is also known as monthly EQ, all right? YEC is also known as the yearly EQ. So yearly EQ is also known as YEG. So anytime you see me asking you question about MEC or YEC or WEC or DEC, you should be able to know what I'm talking about, okay? WEC is weekly equilibrium line. DEC is daily equilibrium line, all right? So this is the monthly equilibrium line for the past month. This is the other equilibrium line. This is the other equilibrium line that we have, and so on and so forth. So that is it for the monthly equilibrium line, all right? The next one we have is the weekly equilibrium line. And we all know that the weekly equilibrium line is usually seen on the H3 time frame, okay? On the H3 time frame period separator. So on this H3 time frame period separator, the candlestick that we are having here, as you can see, it's a bearish candle. So we all know that the opening of a bearish candle is here, right? That's the opening of the bearish candlestick. So it means that this is our weekly equilibrium line. That's our weekly EQ, which is also known as WEC, all right? Which is also known as WEC. You can see here we have our bearish candlestick here on the period separator, all right? On the period separator. And we all know that the opening of that bearish candle is exactly here. That's the opening of the bearish candle. The candlestick that we are having here on this period separator is a bullish candle. So the opening is here. The opening of that bullish candlestick is here. The opening of the bullish candle is here, all right? So that is it, guys. Now, the next one we have is the daily equilibrium line. Now, the daily equilibrium line is usually marked on the H2 time frame, okay? You can see there's a bullish candlestick here. The opening of this bullish candlestick is here. So this is the daily equilibrium line. So this is the daily equilibrium line, which is also known as DEQ, okay, DEQ. So on this other period separator, I believe you can see that the candlestick we are having on this period separator is a bullish candle. So the opening of a bullish candlestick is here. We have this bullish candlestick here on the period separator. The opening of this bullish candlestick is here. So we have this bearish candlestick on this period separator. The opening of this bearish candlestick is here. So that is how to mark your equilibrium lines and how to look at the period separator. Okay, guys. So I believe by now you guys understand what period separator is and how we mark it on different time frames. Okay. So I think that is it, guys. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me your question in the professional group. Okay.